Hello, I'm Heather from Callaways Estate Agents in Hove. I look after lettings in our estate agency, and I want this short video to tell you a little bit about how you can make renting pay. You need to find the right tenant, have the right contract, and clearly think about the right legislation. So some very simple points to start with. How do you find the right tenant? First and foremost, I always suggest you reference the tenants. Are they really in employment as they've said they are? Will they be able to pay the rent? Obviously, if you're worried about getting your rent, you need to make sure that they can cover it. If you have the odd worry, not really much of a worry, make sure you get a guarantor for them. This might be their parents who will make sure that the rent is paid if the tenant can't. Have you also thought about maybe getting your rent up front? Generally, ASTs, that's the assured short hold tenancy, is for a period of 6 months. So if you can get the rent paid 6 months in advance, that takes away a lot of worry. One very important part is to get an inventory prepared before your tenant moves in. You may think, well, it's not a furnished property, but actually think about scrapes of furniture as they're dragging their stuff in, moving it out again. This will all cost you money when they move out for repairs, maybe repainting, maybe replacing a carpet that's been damaged by a cigarette or a glass stain. All these things happen, believe me. Once you've got your inventory done, make sure that you check your tenant in. You're also getting to know them a little bit better. You check the condition of the property against the inventory, and if something's been missed, it can be put right there and then. Another important step, make sure you do mid-term assessments. So perhaps 2 to 3 months after your tenant's moved in, pop along and see them, giving 24 hours notice at least, and just take a look around the property, make sure everything's okay and that they're not saving up lots of problems for when they move out. Finally, 6 months have flown by and it's time for the tenant to move out. What next? You really should do a checkout. Make sure, go through with the tenant what has been damaged, if any, and I'm certainly not saying that you always will find damages, but check it with the tenant. You'll have a much happier tenant, there'll be fewer disputes about getting the deposit back, and you as a result will be a much happier landlord.